Hello and welcome back to the Shmuseum, where today both myself and Brad want to start with a huge thank you to the response to our new Clio V6 project car. We've had messages from just fans of the car, current owners of the car, right through to people linked with number 10 Downing Street and the Prime Minister. I think we're both overwhelmed with the response, right?
It's actually been amazing. Just seeing how much people love that car. Although the response has also been amazing in a different way for what we're doing with the silver one, which currently we do not know. Like, it won't leave yet. We need to work on our plans.
Yeah, but we do seem to have really upset you guys with that one. But moving on to the V6 Clio, if you guys are following the Shmuseum Instagram account, you would have seen a story that Brad put up probably a week or so ago now, and if you're not following, make sure you are to see even more behind the scenes stuff. But we popped this onto the Motech Pro 25S battery charger and reconditioner, and that actually recovered the battery and brought it back to life. However, a couple of hours later, it was failing to start again. Now, that's nothing against the Motech Pro 25S. There is only so much you can do with a completely dead battery that hasn't been used and charged in over 3 years. So we may have a solution to that one coming up. But also, I should probably apologize because I do realize the collection video was a little bit messy and quite excitable. So we're going to get this off the lift now and give you guys a full walk around. And also we've got the full list of what's needed from Scott at SG Motorsport, so we'll fill you in on that too. So we've managed to jump the little Clio and pull it out, and a few of you guys said that we didn't really give you that much of a look around the interior, so I think we'll probably start with there. And to be fair, for the age and condition and mileage, sorry, not condition, the age and mileage, it's in remarkably good condition. The steering wheel definitely is in need of a bit of a retrim. That's a bit horrible, but I'm sure the guys at Dub will be able to tackle that one. And yeah, overall, it definitely is in need of some paint here and there. Just a little bit down here, you can see we've got some paint runs on it. And as I promised, we have the full list of what is required from Scott at SG Motorsport. So I'm sure Brad will give you some lovely B-roll whilst we're going through this, so you don't have to look at my face. But anyway, we have the rear boot struts that are weak. The headlamp washer pump is not working. The rear wiper blade needs replacing. The bonnet latch is rusty. The brake fluid is low. The antenna gasket up here is, well, that's perished and can pretty much come off with the hands. So you'll end up getting water in there, which will go into the headlining, and you'll need that replacing in the end. The rubber tyre valves that we have on the wheels should be metal. We also have incorrect size front tyres. They are 20mm too wide. They are 225s and they should be 205s. The offside rear caliper is binding. The offside rear damper is leaking. The near side coil spring is broken, as we discovered on our visit up there. The bottom crankshaft pulley is cracked. The auxiliary belt kit is worn. The engine mount is collapsed. The ABS rings on the rear drive shafts are rusty, which means we could end up losing ABS at some point. Needs 4 new brake discs. The near side fog light, again, as we pointed out previously. It has an incorrect size oil filter fitted, which, yeah, whoever did that. Anyway, power steering level is low. Cruise control switch is not working. The AC isn't working, which, as we discussed, is hopefully just a regas. The steering wheel, as we said, and the hazard light warning switch is sticking. So just a small list there. And, well, we're going to need to be getting some parts in for this very soon to continue with this project.
And I guess on top of that, it's, do we want to upgrade things? Because yes, we should go for OEM replacements, but do we want to upgrade to improve parts of the car? Yes,
and in some circumstances, we have no choice because, as we said, Renault don't really make parts for these anymore. So we're going to have to replace and upgrade. And speaking of upgrading, we've got some guests coming down here who say we're lacking in a BMW here in the Shmuseum, and they're bringing one along to try and convince us and Tim to add one to the collection again. So I guess they'll be here momentarily.
Here we go, our visitors have arrived. We have Motec with their 1 Series M135i xDrive. We also have their brand new M240i xDrive. That looks really cool. And last but not least, we have, come on Mike, their M4 Competition in a lovely red. Now you understand what we mean by modifying and upgrading cars. Motec have done a few things for us with Tim's old M3. That sounds pretty good. All the noises.
As you would have just seen from them driving in, the guys from Motec are here, and not only have they brought their 1 Series, they brought their 2 and their M4 as well. So I think, Brad, we should probably take a walk around and see what we can spot, right? I mean, we've seen this car a few times before on the channel, especially when we went up to have the Remus exhaust fitted to the M3 at Motec. So we know it's got their wheels, it's got their eye-back lowering springs and the body kit around it. But other than that, I couldn't tell you much more. So I think we'll have to get Mike in at some point. But anyway, we know what this is. We had the M3, as we said, but we will come back to that because it's got a few extra little special bits and pieces. But I think the one we're most interested in, Brad, is the new M240i, because I think this is the latest rival to the RS3 that we've just lost.
This is the first time I've seen one. And like you say, it could be like a really good replacement for the RS3. It's practical, not too much power. It's that sort of sweet spot. I've
got to say, I did see one up at Goodwood Festival of Speed, and I wasn't overly keen, if I'm completely honest. But seeing what the guys have done to this one, it's clearly got some additional body parts around it, got some carbon. It's got the lovely wheels.
Do you know what I still can't get my head to like, and I think you're the same.
Yeah,
the front end's fine, because obviously we have grille gate with things like the M4.
It's those.
But yeah, the rear of this seems to be the...
I still can't get around that. I do think one thing that Mike was saying off camera is that the colour helps a lot, and I completely agree on.
Massively.
I've seen a red one of these, and they just really
I think
kind of stand out.
A darker car, if you had it in a black or in this lovely blue,
yeah.
This works.
Speaking of Tim's M3, I can see we have a lovely carbon tip Remus system on this as well, so I think we'll need to have a listen to that one. And the rear diffuser, actually that goes really well, that diffuser. That's quite aggressive.
Pretty nice. Anyway, I don't know enough about this, and I don't think you do, so I'm going to give...
We're waffling as always.
I'm going to give my mic to Mike, and mic to Mike.
No pun intended, right?
No, and he can come and explain about the cars a little bit more.
Yeah, let's let him talk us through exactly what they've done and what they're able to offer for these little beasts. As promised, we are now joined by Mike from Motec.
Hello.
Welcome down.
How are you again?
Not too bad, it's been a while.
M3 and then probably 4 years before then.
Yes, it was quite a while before then.
Yeah, but we do know each other.
I'm trying to remember when it was. It was possibly at the TRL deals. Gas?
Probably.
Gas
oh,
station
yes, gas station. That was a little while ago with Raz and Joe and
Yeah.
people like that. But yeah, it was a little while ago. Yeah, things have changed since then. I'm trying to convince you to have another BMW on fleet.
You are, that's it. The M3 is gone, and Mike gave us a phone call and said, you guys need another BMW, I'm bringing one down to show you, and you brought all three.
You've had a 3, so we brought the 1, 2 and a 4.
Everything around it.
I can't go much higher. 5s, they're a bit boring.
So I think, first of all, like we said, I want to start by talking about this, because this is obviously quite close to us, given that we've just given away or given back our RS3 Saloon.
Yeah.
And I think this is probably the nearest rival to that.
Price-wise, it's cheaper than the RS3.
Okay.
But if you watch any sort of stats online, anything like that, it is as quick.
Yeah.
So it's cheaper as well. So this fully spec'd is 51. I don't know what price for an RS3 is. 70s?
I think you end up there, but I think they start around the high
20 grand's
50s,
a big difference.
60s.
But yeah, this is their M Lite, so it's got the M2. But what a car. I know it looks a bit sort of here or there. It depends on which way you prefer, the front or the back. I mean, I love it. The purple works really well.
We definitely prefer the front, as we've just said.
Most people tend to, yeah.
But we can't all like the same things.
No.
This is, I'm sure there are people out there that like the back end.
Yeah.
Sorry if you do.
If you're driving it, that's what they say.
Yes. Yeah.
But great car, 6-cylinder, B58, xDrive in these now. So where the previous 2 series were rear-wheel drive, these are now 4. So it's a really good rear-wheel drive bias setup.
Yeah, I was going to say, it still very much feels rear drive from what I've heard about them.
Yeah, it is. And they've done some updated stuff to the gearbox. The gearbox is really sharp on this. We'll get you out into it one day.
Okay, awesome. Now, clearly, you guys have done a few bits to this, and we don't know what we're talking about. Why don't you run us through what you've done and what you can offer for these? Because I think Motec's stance has always been OEM plus. It's just taking what they've got
and a little bit better. So
just improving it without ruining it.
You nailed it. We're trying to be that factory look, Brabus, Tech Art, that sort of stuff. And what we do really, really well with these is just bridge that gap from a 240i and the M2, just to be that middle bit.
Yep.
That's what we tend to do on the M Lite. So this one is running a 25mm spring kit all the way around by iBack we developed.
Okay.
We've gone up an inch on the sides of the wheels. So these normally come with a 19-inch wheel with a Michelin.
Yep.
We run these on a stagger 20-inch. This chassis is the G20, G22, so 3 and 4, so they can take a 20-inch. Doesn't upset it. It's got adaptive dampers. Rides really well. As long as you put proper tyres on it, you're fine.
I've got to say, it looks much
stance
better
on it now with that
result.
that's a 10J rear as well. It just swallows it up. It is lovely.
Okay, I was going to say, have you got spaces on this? But obviously, it's the offset on the wheels that have got that looking.
That's correct. Yeah,
so
and you can go quite wide on these. So these plastic arches are part of the M Pro pack, so it just gives you a bit more of a sort of stance. So you can space out the original wheels.
So it is possible to get one without these?
Yes, that's correct, yeah, and it has a narrower front.
Don't do that, that looks a lot better.
Yeah, and for a BMW, because normally on some cars you have like the little black bit on your M3, you'd have just like a black wheel arch.
Yeah.
Now they start to colour code and body.
That
so it
looks really good.
Yeah, so that's all factory. M Performance carbon body kit, BMW M Performance kit on this, they've nailed it. It looks really good. So it's a 3-part front.
Okay.
Obviously side fins, diffuser and spoiler. You can buy extra bits, mirrors and stuff, but I quite like how this is. We change out the badges because obviously we sell these via the dealership.
Okay, so you've got your Motec badges there just to replace. Would that be the traditional BMW?
The tricolour with the BMW?
Yeah,
they normally have a funny serum grey. So when you buy the M Performance pack, you get a black M240i badge as well.
Okay.
So you take off all that serum grey gold sort of badge. We replace them with the Motec ones because you can buy these from Tony, TRL, as a Motec edition. So you can buy the car looking like this from him.
Okay.
And then we change the exhaust out. This says all the OPF filters in place. It's the Remus race rear box.
So this is is this an axle back system then?
Pretty much, yeah. So the OPF's about here where the sunroof is, so we just kind of go back from there. There's no actual central box onto this, so it's just a performance rear box.
Okay.
Just for a better sort of sound, really. And looks, I'm not a big fan of that shape they have there. It's like a rectangle before it kind of fills in the gap.
Yeah.
And I think by having the 4 tailpipe, especially not in the middle, it's definitely not an M2, but a bit sort of Alpina-ish or something like that with the tailpipes either side. And it works well, you know, with the carbon sort of styling onto it.
I think it does look a lot better, and I absolutely love this rear spoiler.
Can you believe this is an M Performance part?
It is shocking,
and
isn't
for BMW, as an original part, you buy off the shelf, and we sell the full kits, but it looks like an aftermarket part. So BMW have nailed the M Performance kit.
I mean, it does make sense in a way because the fit and finish is clearly absolutely perfect. Yeah. But as you said, the style and design of this is something you would expect to come from an aftermarket.
100%. Yeah. So there's nothing actually out there as yet, and I don't think there's going to be a lot that can compete. This kit is really good. And it's good value for money. It's like a
I suspect some other tuning houses have seen what BMW have done and just gone, why bother?
Exactly.
Honestly,
exactly.
This has been nailed,
amazing. Yeah, like you sort of say. But I think for a factory car, like I said, this is the M Light. It has the wider arches. It has like the bonnet bulge, very similar to sort of the E92s and the F80 M3s and M4s.
It does look quite aggressive up front. And I mean, I've just come here, Brad. If you step in, this rear quarter, this 3/4 view looks absolutely
And if you open the driver's door, you'll see the tricolor, not tricolor, that's the Italian word, but what's the BMW, the 3 colours on the door as well.
Ah, okay, the tri-stripe there.
Yeah, so that lights up quite nicely. So some real nice details to it. It's quite a nice spec car, sunroof and things, but they're really good out the box, you know, and they don't need much.
No, and what I like about this is it's very typical BMW inside in that everything is where you'd expect it to be. It's a new model, new generation of car, but they haven't moved all the buttons around. They haven't made it unnecessarily complicated. It's still
a BMW.
If you jumped out of an E92, you get in this and you know what's what.
Exactly that, yeah. The iDrive system is pretty much identical. It's just updated screens and things.
I'm sure some people may see as a downside that it hasn't necessarily progressed, but it's just like Porsche, in my opinion. You
and
jump in a
iPhone.
997 in a brand new car, everything's where you expect it. So that's a big plus point for me.
Yeah, it looks good. And changing the wheels out, and then obviously we put like a lattice style on it. So this is classed as our MW3 wheel, so this is in 20-inch only for the 2, 3s and 4s. But you can't go wrong with this sort of cross-spoke. It's like a modern-day 1M cross-spoke style of wheel.
No, it does look
and the gloss
very
back
good.
Works really, really well.
But speaking of wheels, you haven't just brought this.
No,
you have your M4.
Yes, this is our M4. So last time you saw it, it was almost a standard car.
Yeah, I think
you had the exhaust before us.
Yes, you had the front splitter and the rear spoiler, and I think that was about it.
Yeah, so this runs on a H&R kit. We run a 21-inch, that's 11 by 21 rear wheel.
Oh, wow, that's wide.
It is huge, 295 tire, and it eats it up. Absolutely eats it up.
I mean, it looks absolutely stunning. The design of that is really aggressive.
Yeah, we wanted, we class as it a 1 second wow. So you go, wow. And that's obviously what we try and sort of sell it as. So this is classed as our MW2 wheel, which is fully forged.
Okay.
The other two are flow formed, so they are slightly lighter than a normal cast wheel. But yeah, this is to be, the halo wheel.
Yeah.
But you can have them in any fitment. But yeah, this runs a staggered setup, so 20-inch front, 21 rear.
And again, I think you guys have nailed it again. It's got that aggression, but still retains that OEM look. It doesn't look immediately aftermarket.
No, when you're doing stuff for M3s and M4s and M5s and things, you can't make them a lot better. So you have to just give them a bit more drama.
Yeah.
It's the same with the exhaust, same with the spoiler. It already comes with the carbon spoiler, so just a bit more than factory. Nothing silly.
Oh, so this was standard?
No. They come with the standard spoiler. But this is like an enlarged version of what was already on there.
I was going to say, I didn't recall that. Yeah. So. And again, you've got the Remus exhaust round here.
Yeah. So we've got an OPF back on this one. So this is a good system with our black tailpipe. Has a bit of a nice theme to it.
Which, in fairness, was probably a tad more usable than Tim's M3 was. With
he had the full
system,
lot,
which was quite noisy on cold start.
It was, but I do use it sometimes a daily. He's got more cars than anybody.
However, once that car bedded in, I think when I brought the car up to you to remove the exhaust off
Before you sold it, yes.
You were quite surprised at
when you
how
press the button.
it was far better than when it was very first
Exhaust
installed.
baffling, you know, compressors after time. So yeah, exactly.
Now I see we've got the bonnet open on this one, and
Yes.
I'm guessing you're going to explain why.
So when we obviously are looking at any M3 and M4 from factory, they are really covered in plastic, and the previous shape had the big carbon boomerang. So it was a really nice piece to look at.
It was
These just
lovely.
have nothing, absolutely nothing.
Yeah, they've got this new sort of V-brace, if you like, and it's nowhere near as attractive.
No, so the original one is just a complete box. So we obviously have this one done. This is our development one, just to give it a little bit more sort of detail, but not going over the top. You know, just gives it a bit more to it. And obviously this is the pipe across carbon intake. So there's 2 cone filters under there, and it's just a carbon panel, just to give it a bit more. Yeah, again, drama for sound, but of course it looks more like an M car now. Unfortunately, we have all this plastic still, but you've got to have some of it.
Yeah, it's a shame the way these things are going, but fingers crossed, you never actually need to open this and look at it, so it
only if you're
really
a coffee
matter.
meet.
Yes,
showing something.
exactly. And you've got quite the aggressive front lip on here as well.
Yeah, yeah. Again, the reason behind this one is to match the front and the rear.
Yeah.
It's very similar. Mine sort of structure like a 675 LT, where it's just got a longer front, a longer spoiler, so you're just going a little bit longer. And they work hand in hand together, you know, with the 21-inch rear wheel and the 20-inch front staggered wheels, the drop, those bits look quite good. If you've got a standard car and you add it can look a bit out of place. When you start tying all the bits together, it starts to really work.
Again, that's what you guys do so well, it's that package. It's harmonising one modification to another, which I think
making
is
it all work very well.
What some people sometimes struggle with. But
yeah, so like sort of a bit factory plus, but a little bit more on the end.
Yeah.
Where obviously the 240i, we want it to look like, could that be a factory car? And then the 1 Series, same again. Obviously, we've had this for 3 years now. This is a complete change. The original car was rear-wheel drive. Most of them were 6-cylinders and 140s, 135i's. This is now 4-cylinders. This is more mini than BMW.
It's a front-biased four-wheel drive system. So I guess it's almost more along the lines of a VW Golf R.
That's his biggest rival.
Platform.
Yeah, exactly. Which is actually quite good for us because it's opened up a market, which was, we still have plenty of the previous cars coming in.
Yep.
And then we have a lot of these as well. But, you know, this car, the white is obviously a bit sort of striking. Obviously, it's a good shop car for us with all the brands that we deal with on the side and, you know, we sell. But it works well. We changed the wheels out. We've had it 3 years now, so it goes back in October. We've ordered the new one for next year, so they'll be a complete new facelift. But
are you going bold on the colour, or
probably this time round? Yeah, I don't know what. When I picked this one, I had a white M2 at the time, so the cars look really great next to each other.
Yep.
But now, unfortunately, it looks a little lost next to some brighter colours. But yeah, it's been a really good car. But like anything else, it's probably, if anything, it's probably the best one because it's got back doors. I like to stuff stuff in the back.
Yep.
Stereo's good into it. It's good on fuel. You know, hot hatches are just, they have a good place, don't they, in the market?
It's that something you can jump in, use every day for all occasions.
Yeah.
And obviously we've got the wheels on this one as well.
This is our original wheels. This is our MW1. So we do 3 wheels. This is the first one. But this has been really popular. It's about to launch in 20-inch. But we wanted something on this particular wheel to look like a modified wheel.
Okay.
Where the one on the 240i looks like it could be an original wheel.
Yep.
So you have the differences.
So you've got the difference in style. And I can see behind the wheels, we're not exactly standard either.
No,
I'm
Tarocs.
guessing.
And if you go to the front one, if you have a quick look at there, they're 2-part floating front discs on them, and they are huge.
Okay, and
That's
those
a factory size
those
setup.
are from Tarocs, you said?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So the brake calipers on these, and actually the pads, is the same setup as what they put on the BMW i8. So it's a really good braking system.
Okay.
So some of the stuff is really good.
Yeah.
You know, the engine
I guess that's the beauty of sometimes part sharing from within a brand, is that you can
If
end
it
up
fits,
with some
make it
really
work.
good components.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, typical on this one, we just got rid of every other colour apart from it's just white and black. It runs a carbon intake as well, Remus race system. We put a tuning box onto it. It's about 350 horsepower, so it's good enough for a hot hatch.
Yep.
Or mild hatch. I don't know what you call them now. I think the RS3 is a hot hatch now, isn't it? It's a mild hatch, but
I'd still call it a hot hatch. I think we now, cars like that and potentially the 240 and those things, I think they breach into the hyper hatch territory now.
or mega hatch. Yeah,
So
exactly.
I think we can still call this a hot hatch.
But yeah, they're all good really. But let's. You want to hear what they sound like?
I think that is the next
can do
thing.
that.
Let's fire them up and see. I think let's start with this one because I'm guessing
It's
they
closest
only
as well.
It's closest, but I'm guessing we can then only get better.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
So-
exactly. We'll go up in numbers. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Let's do
perfect.
that. Well, I hope we got that right, and I think you'll agree they just got better and better sounding there, especially with the intake on this. That
Good.
is,
Wait till you hear it under load.
I'll say that's a real intake noise. I think we'll have to go and get out on the road at some point in this.
When we get some time.
Yes, but I think we should say thank you very much for coming
Absolute
down.
pleasure. No, thank you for having us down. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
we'll be down again one other day.
It's been a long time coming. Hopefully at some point we've got something else in the collection that we can bring up to you and get some more OEM Plus going on.
Can't wait. It'll be very good, yes.
So for now, if you guys have any of the cars below, any BMW, any Volkswagen product,
anything
at all,
just follow us.
give Mike at Motec a call and see what they're able to do for your car. But now, I think we should have some more parts coming soon.
Off there you go. M240i leaving first. It's growing on me. I think it will do for most people. Not sure about the rear, but we'll get there. That is off. M135i is also off. That's cool. Very, very cool. And finally, the red M4 Competition. Nice to see a car without black wheels. There we go. See you guys, thank you for coming down. We need to talk about a car very similar to this. It's blue and has a V12, but it's not an Aston Martin DBS, it's got the prancing horse on the front. That is obviously the GTC Lusso, and yeah, we need to talk about where it is, because in the last video, we swapped it over with the SF90 for service, so it was brought back here, and it's now not. On the Euro Tour, where we took a few cars, obviously, around Italy, Germany, etc., it may have picked up a few scuffs on the wheels. So the car is currently over at Whoops Will Fix It. We're going to quickly rewind back now to see that get dropped off and obviously just discuss kind of what happened and what the plan is with it. Out on the road in the Mini Electric, and we have arrived at this place. You know where it is, right?
I think these guys know where it is.
Yeah.
We've been here enough time.
We're at Whoops Will Fix It, and we're with the GTC Lusso.
Yes. This, as you guys recently saw, Tim went away on a Euro trip to the Nürburgring to collect the SF90 with this and the Hurricane STO. And whilst it was on that trip, well, it may have had a whoops, no pun intended.
No, loads of pun intended.
Well, if you guys come here, you can see that, oh, I'm here, seen better days. And actually, there's a couple of stone chips and marks on pretty much every wheel. We should probably walk away from the noise. But there's a mark on pretty much every wheel. So we've dropped this down here to the boys and said, look, can you sort it out? And when they've said, do you want to come and pick a colour? We've actually said no. You guys surprise us, pick a very classy silver, and we'll see what you've got when we return. So in a few days' time, we'll come and pick this one back up, and get it back to this museum.
Back in the present day, and we're currently waiting for parts for the Clio V6. I think a battery, most importantly, so we can actually start it on a dime rather than having to jump it and then plug C-Tex into it, etc. I mean, it will live on a C-Tex smart charger, obviously, but for now, we can't even get it easily moved and started. So yeah, waiting for those parts, and then we will get cracking.
Now, the IKEA toolkit is out, which means only one thing. Me and Brad are going to attempt to work on things.
No, this means that you're going to attempt to work on things. I use a proper toolkit.
Fine,
This is your toolkit.
However, more importantly, the guys who you may remember from the headlights on the old Clio, carspares.co.uk, have come through and saved the day. And they've come and dropped off a brand new Bosch battery, which I can pick it up, honestly. There we go, that's that one. And crucially, something we are very in need of, which is our timing belt and water pump kit. You can see the belt just under there, with all of the pulleys that are required as part of that. So at some point when we next go up to SG Motorsport, we'll be letting Scott fit this one. I don't think...
I'm good, I don't want to touch it.
I don't think we're going to be tackling this one.
Do you know what we can fit? Hopefully can fit.
A battery.
A battery, let's
also, you guys may have noticed, we now have the boot bin back, which we might have slightly forgot behind them. We now have that back. Anyway, moving on, I think we should try and fit a battery. So we are here, and we have a star bit down here just on the battery support bracket holder.
Yeah, something like that. I assume that does need to come off. I'm not sure if there's anything else we can't really see, but we'll try that one for now.
One of the above, and then obviously just the bolts on the clamps for the terminals there as well, which again, as you can see, have been off at some point because we have the C-Tech plug on there, which unfortunately, with this one being as dead as it is, isn't really doing much. So I think we need to, I need to get this one off, which will be fun. This looks quite rusty, so I've got a feeling that's going to be quite difficult. So I have planned this, and I've brought an extra little extension bar just here, which we can pop through. Oh, it goes all the way through. That's not ideal, but we can pop that into there. I've thought of this.
Came prepared.
And then there we go. Look at that. Use that as a turning tool.
Doesn't sound very good.
No. But that is now coming out. Can I now not need that?
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
I really hope this bolt is needed to be removed.
It is, I assure you. I might not know what it's called, but I do know it needs to come off. So
There we go.
that one appears to now be free. There we go. So that's that with its washer. Yeah, I mean, fortunately we don't have any rust issues on the car and the chassis, but clearly some components do. Anyway, I think next is going to be...
10 mil? No, we can make this easy.
Do you have a...
No, I've got one of them. I came prepared.
Oh, amazing.
One of them, pop it on the extension.
There we go. See, so that extension has come in handy twice.
I'll dodgy filming work, filming the ground as I pick up stuff.
Yeah, excuse Brad. Makes me feel better for when I'm holding the camera and getting it badly wrong, if you're getting it badly wrong.
Let's see, I hope, and what if it's not 10 mil?
Oh, I think it is. Hang on,
there you go, that's loosened. Nice. Great success.
Either that isn't turning.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, that's...
I think we cut here.
It's not a 10 mil, it's smaller than that because that's just spinning around.
Well, I don't have anything other than that on me, so we're going to have to use
adjustable spanner it is. Yeah. We'll be back in a moment.
Here we go. This should be the moment of truth.
Should, in theory, lift straight out.
Oh, wow.
There we go. So
we've changed the battery.
And we'll compare that one with there.
Pretty perfect to me.
Yeah, the sizes are pretty much, but again, this one, sorry, I should probably look at you guys. That one, the one that's just come out wasn't actually the correct spec because that's a 70 amp hour and the new one is a 72, which is actually the correct spec. So yeah, we'll need to uncover the terminals and lift this one in. And
see if we can slide it in.
Yeah, something along these lines. We just have to move all of the C-Tech stuff out of the way. Pop that one back to there, and then I think it's a case of popping that other bracket back on, screwing the terminals on, and we should be good to go. So let's fast forward through that one.
The moment of truth. The new battery's in. I think it's
Terminal
all bolted down safely, hopefully.
There's only one way to find out, as I always say. So I guess without further ado,
you got the key? Hopefully. Is there a key in there somewhere?
There we go.
I'm going to go around to the back for some engine, but oh, sorry, Vantage Roadster. Let's see.
Right, so
let's start. Actually, first of all, let me come in here and see if we get ignition.
As I say, we're all going to look really silly now
if it
doesn't. Okay, so that's positive.
I mean, ignition has come on every now and again with the old battery, but then after that, it did nothing.
You turn the key and you just get click, and there's nothing. So
let's see. Oh, okay. Let me come around the back.
It's looking positive. Right, are we ready?
Oh,
yay!
Like a dime.
So that is officially the first fix on Project Clio. Done. Me and you did that.
Nailed it.
Great success.
Right, so I guess we can pop the...
We should pop the boot bin.
Boot bin, that's it. I was trying to think what's it called.
We'll put the boot bin in.
Get this on the C-Tech as well, now it's alive.
This can live on a C-Tech to keep the battery in good condition, which is actually what we need to figure out next, because we've got the cable on the battery, and with the boot bin in,
you kind of lose
I don't exactly know where it's going to go, so let's figure that one out, and yeah. As you can see, we've got the C-Tech extension on there. Unfortunately, the wire on its own wasn't quite enough, so we've popped an extension just underneath the boot bin, just coming up out the back, out the way of any pipes or anything that's going to get overly hot.
Do you want to hold the bonnet and I'll put this out the way?
Yeah, and I probably should just point out, we've got one of these clips off of here. That should clip in there. Unfortunately, the bit that it screws into is missing. Again, we really should learn all these technical terms, but that
into there
is that one. And no more handprints from having to push it
around
when we can't start it
So
anymore,
the C-Tech is plugged in, right?
C-Tech is plugged in. That should now be on, running.
Let's
and
have a look. Perfect.
Have a few lights on.
Straight onto 3, which means basically the battery's gone through the first sort of health checks very quickly, and
it's been a day of modifications here. I mean, I think we can hardly call that a modification, but I'm going to. And then given the chaps earlier on from Motec coming down to visit with their 3 really cool cars, it's been a day of modification here in this museum.
Upgrades, mods, performance.
New parts.
Yeah.
Just new things in general.
And that, I guess, sums up this project. Modifications, upgrades, stuff like that. It's going to be super fun to get this properly underway, and that is the first part.
And that's it. It's super fun as well for me, learning what's available OEM and what's going to have to be aftermarket, and then therefore what modifications might be coming in the future. That's all being worked on as we speak. So yeah, like I say, the first parts are now arriving, so this will very soon be ready to get back up to Scott at SG Motorsport, and we will continue with the build.
And obviously a big thank you to Car Spares for our water pump and timing belt kit, and obviously the battery.
Yeah, huge thank you to carspares.co.uk. And also, whilst the chaps were here, they've actually taken the list of parts that we have that are required, and they're going to see what else they're able to source, because obviously parts for this are not the easiest thing to source. Renault don't make them anymore, so it's all aftermarket and patent manufacturers that you're going to have to get bits from. So massive thank you to them. If you need anything for any one of your cars, again, link will be in the description below for them. Do check them out, give them a shot, see what they can find for your car. But for now, I think that pretty much brings to an end today's video. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the 3 BMWs. I think me and Brad need to go and have a conversation about a new 240i.
Yeah, and it would need to visit Motec. Again, links for their stuff also down in the description.
Yep, again, you can get the full Motec edition from Tony at TRL Deals. So again, do hit him up if you're interested. But for now, until next time.